Hello friends, hope all of you are doing well. Welcome back to my channel Lowest in Gaming. Recently, I have completed playing 150 new games on my channel. Also, my channel has crossed 750 subscribers. So, in order to show my appreciation to you guys, I bring you third part of my video series titled 50 new games that I have played on Intel UHD 620 iGPU. Link of the previous two parts of this video series is attached above. So if you guys are interested, you can go and check out those videos. Those who are curious, my HP 250G7 notebook laptop has Intel Core i5 8th generation processor at 1.6 GHz speed with 16GB dual channel DDR4 RAM and 256GB NVMe SSD. And my operating system is Windows 11 64-bit. So friends, let's start the video without further delay. But before that, please remember that it is entirely my own playlist. Some of these games performed quite well on this hardware, while some of them ran very poorly. These games are playable or not, that entirely depends upon your preference. And if you like this type of low-end gaming content and want to support small creators like me, then please hit that like button, give hype and subscribe to my channel, and help me to reach my target of 1000 subscribers. I am going to start my list with Just Cause 3. I played this third-person open-world action-adventure game at 1366x768 resolution with dynamic rendering resolution turned on, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. I was getting 24 to 25 FPS with screen record on and 28 to 30 FPS without screen record. Second game on this list is Marlow, Briggs and the Mask of Death. I played this third-person action-adventure game at 1366x768 resolution, and I was getting 45 to 50 FPS both for cutscenes and gameplay. Next game on this list is The Crew 2. I played this open-world racing game at 720p resolution with 50% resolution scaling, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low, and I was getting 26 to 28 FPS with screen record and 28 to 30 FPS without screen record. Next game on this list is South of Midnight. I played this third-person action-adventure game at 640x400 resolution, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. For upscaling, I used TAAU set at ultra performance mode. I was getting 15 to 16 FPS with screen record on and 16 to 17 FPS without screen record. Fifth game of this list is Wolfenstein Youngblood. I played this first-person shooter video game at 720p resolution with 50% resolution scaling, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low, and I was getting 23 to 25 FPS with screen record on. Next game on this list is Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag Jackdaw Edition. I played this third-person open-world action-adventure game at 1366x768 resolution, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. I was getting 25 to 27 FPS with screen record on and 27 to 28 FPS without screen record. Next on the list is Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. I played this hack and slash game at 1366x768 resolution, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. I was getting 35 to 40 FPS with screen record and 38 to 42 FPS without screen record. Eighth game of this list is Batman Arkham City. I played this third-person open-world action-adventure game at 1366x768 resolution with medium graphical settings, and I was getting 35 to 45 FPS with screen record on. However, for some reason, I was facing occasional stutters. Ninth game of this list is Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands. I played this hack and slash game at 1366x768 resolution with all graphical settings set at high, and I was getting 50 to 60 FPS both with or without screen record. Next game on this list is Shatterline. I played this first-person shooter video game at 1366 x 768 resolution, and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. For upscaling, I used AMD FSR set at performance mode, and I was getting 40 to 45 FPS during gameplay with screen record on. Next on the list is Blood West. At first, I played this game at native 1366 x 768 resolution, then dropped it to 720p to get better performance. I was getting 18 to 20 FPS at native resolution, but later getting 23 to 34 FPS at 720p resolution. Next on the list is Wuchang Fallen Feathers. Known for its beautiful visuals and Souls-like mechanics, this game reportedly struggles even on high-end GPUs. Surprisingly, this game is not crashing on my laptop, but it is running very poorly. I played this game at 1024 x 768 resolution with all other graphical settings set at low. For upscaling, I used AMD FSR set at ultra performance mode. Even after that, I was getting only 5 to 6 FPS with screen record and 7 to 8 FPS without screen record. So, although this game technically is running, it is not playable in Intel UHD 620 iGPU. You should only play this game with dedicated GPU. 13th game of this list is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I played the game at 720p resolution and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. For upscaling, I used AMD FSR 2.0 set at ultra performance mode. I was getting 10 to 16 FPS with screen record and 13 to 17 FPS without screen record. Next game on this list is Riders Republic. I was playing this game in offline mode, and in offline mode, career or events are not available. Only Zen mode is available, where you can only roam freely using bicycles. The game world is large, featuring rocky hills, snow peaks, forests and off-road tracks. But sadly, there's no interaction, no events and limited activities in offline mode. FPS of this game ranged between 12 to 22 FPS depending on the terrain. 15th game of this list is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I played this first-person shooter video game at 1024 x 768 resolution and I have reduced all graphical settings to low. For upscaling, I used AMD Fidelity CAS. I was getting 18 to 20 FPS in outdoor sections and 25 to 28 FPS in narrow corridors. Next game on this list is Bayonetta. I played this hack and slash game at 1366 x 768 resolution with highest graphical settings, and I was getting 40 plus FPS with or without screen record. Next game on this list is also another hack and slash game called DmC Devil May Cry. And just like Bayonetta, I also played this game at 1366 x 768 resolution with highest graphical settings, and I was getting 38 to 40 FPS on average during gameplay. Deadpool is next on the list. I also played this game at 1366 x 768 resolution but with medium graphical settings, and I was getting 45 to 50 FPS during gameplay. Next game on the list is also another hack and slash game called Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I played this game at 1366 x 768 resolution with medium to high graphical settings, and I was getting 45 to 50 FPS during gameplay. 20th game of this list is Bright Memory Episode 1. I played and completed this fast-paced, first-person shooter video game at 1366 x 768 resolution with 75% resolution scale and low graphical settings, and I was getting 20 to 25 FPS with screen record on and 22 to 28 FPS without screen record. Next game on this list is a racing game called Split Second. I played this high-octane destruction-filled racing game at 1366x768 resolution with high graphical setting, and I was getting steady 30 FPS with or without screen record. Next game on this list is another hack and slash game called Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. I played this game at 1366x768 resolution with medium graphical settings, and high definition texture pack was turned on, and I was getting steady 45 to 50 FPS in both cutscenes and gameplay with or without screen record. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 is next on the list, and I was playing this game at 1024x768 resolution with 55% resolution scaling and low graphical settings, and I was getting 18 to 25 FPS during gameplay and in-game cutscenes whether screen record is on or off. Here I need to mention that I was getting occasional graphical glitches in road textures, same as seen in Black Ops 6. Next game on this list is another hack and slash game named Blades of Time. I played this game at 1366x768 resolution with high graphical settings, and I was getting almost steady 60 FPS during gameplay. 25th game on this list is Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and with it we are halfway point of our list. I played this third-person tactical shooter video game at 1366x768 resolution with low graphical settings, and I was getting 24 to 25 FPS for both cutscenes and gameplay with screen record on. Next on the list is Darksiders II Deathinitive Edition. It is the remastered version of the 2012 hack and slash action RPG game Darksiders II. I played this game at 1366x768 resolution with low graphical settings, and I was getting 25 to 28 FPS during both cutscenes and gameplay, with drops below 20 FPS in some open areas, and it is likely due to being the remastered version of the original game. Sniper Ghost Warrior is next on the list. This game holds a special place in my heart because it was one of the first realistic shooters I have ever played during my college days. The first time I saw the level of detail, like a crab walking across a beach, I instantly fell in love with the game. Here I would also like to mention that if you see a black and white upside down menu background or cutscene at the start, don't panic. It's a known issue for the game on Windows 8 or above. The rest of the game works perfectly fine. I played this tactical first-person shooter video game at 1366x768 resolution with high graphical setting, and I was getting approximately 35 to 40 FPS with screen record on and 40 to 50 FPS without screen record. Next game on this list is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. Previously, this game was part of my tried and failed game list, as this game crashes every time during the second mission. So this time I bypassed the crash by using a 100% save file and continuing from mission 3. I played this game at 1024x768 resolution with low graphical settings, and I was getting 15 FPS on average during gameplay. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is next on the list. I played this tactical first-person shooter video game at 1366x768 resolution with low graphical settings, and I was getting 23 to 25 FPS during gameplay with screen record on, and 24 to 27 FPS without screen record. 30th game of this list is Rogue Prince of Persia. Unlike the usual hack and slash or action RPGs I covered, this one is a roguelite platformer, but still part of the legendary Prince of Persia franchise. I played this video game at 1366x768 resolution, and I was getting 35 to 40 FPS during gameplay with screen record on, and 38 to 45 FPS without recording. Next game on this list is Eriksholm The Stolen Dream. It is an adventure stealth game played from an isometric perspective. I played this video game at 1366x768 resolution with 50% resolution scaling, and I set all other graphical settings to low, and I was getting 24 to 28 FPS during gameplay with recording and 25 to 30 FPS without recording. Hogwarts Legacy is next on this list. Here I would like to mention that this third-person open-world action-adventure game does not launch on Windows 11 version 24H2, even with crack fix. It only worked on Windows 11 version 23H2 or any previous version. I played this game at 1366x768 resolution. For upscaling, I tried both AMD FSR 2 and NVIDIA NIS method set at ultra performance mode. I set all graphical settings to low. FPS of this game ranged between 13 to 20 FPS. Next game of this list is Gears of War Reloaded. I played this third-person shooter video game both on 1366x768 and 720p resolution with low graphical settings, and for upscaling I used AMD FSR 3.1 set at ultra performance mode, and I was getting 23 to 25 FPS on average at 1366x768p resolution and 25 to 32 FPS at 720p resolution. Far Cry New Dawn is next on this list. And just like Hogwarts Legacy, this first-person open-world action-adventure game does not launch on Windows 11 version 24H2. It would only work on Windows 11 version 23H2 or any previous version. At 1366x768 resolution with resolution scaling reduced to 0.5 and graphics settings set to low, the game runs around 20 to 25 FPS during gameplay with or without screen record. I was getting slightly better performance at 22 to 26 FPS on average with 720p resolution. 35th game of this list is Necromunda Hired Gun. I played this fast-paced FPS game both on 1366x768 and 720p resolution with medium to low graphical settings. And for upscaling, I used AMD FSR 1 set at performance mode, and I was getting 21 to 28 FPS for 1366x768 resolution and 23 to 25 FPS for 720p resolution. Next game on this list is Far Cry Primal. I played this first-person open-world game both at 1366x768 resolution and 720p resolution with normal to low graphical quality. For 1366x768 resolution, I was getting 18 to 22 FPS, and for 720p resolution, I was getting 19 to 23 FPS. Atomic Heart is next on this list. I played it at 720p resolution using Fidelity FX Super Resolution set at quality mode and dynamic resolution scaling turned on, and I have reduced all other graphical settings to low. Performance of this game was extremely unstable. During initial open world section, the FPS is quite low. With screen record on, I was getting 14 to 15 FPS on average, and without screen record, I was getting 15 to 17 FPS on average. However, later in underground close combat area, I was getting 28 to 30 FPS on average easily with screen record on, and even sometimes it was going above 40 FPS. However, I also observed occasional dips in FPS like 18 to 19 FPS at this section. Without screen record, I was getting 30 to 35 FPS at this section. Next on this list is Chernobylite. Initially with 1366x768 resolution with AMD FSR 1.0 upscaling set at quality mode, I was getting 14 to 15 FPS with screen record on. However, later I turned off upscaling and reduced resolution scaling to 50%. Then I was getting 24 to 25 FPS on average with screen record. Later, I reduced my resolution to 720p. Then I was getting 26 to 28 FPS on average with screen record. Occasionally it went above 30 to 35 FPS, but sometimes it dipped into single digits. Next game on this list is one of the best games of 2025, and it is even considered to be a strong contender of Game of the Year. I am talking about Hollow Knight Silksong. This is the highly anticipated sequel to the critically acclaimed Hollow Knight. I played this game at 1366x768 resolution with particle effects set at normal, and I was getting 100 plus FPS during gameplay. That means you can play this critically acclaimed game very smoothly with this integrated graphics card. Next game on this list is Lost Soul Aside. The resolution was set to 1366x768 with most graphical settings lowered to minimum. Unfortunately, shadows cannot go below medium and super sampling is not supported on Intel UHD 620. The game runs, but at very low frame rate, 7 to 9 FPS depending on whether screen record is on or off. Gameplay feels sluggish with massive input lag, making combat nearly unplayable. While the game does not crash, it is clear that this title is not suitable for low-end systems. Watch Dogs 2 is next on this list. I played this game both at 1366x768 and 720p resolution with 100% and 70% resolution scaling, and I was getting between 17 to 35 FPS depending upon these varied graphical options. Bride Memory Infinite is next on the list. This first-person shooter video game is the remake of Bride Memory Episode 1, which has already been featured on this list. I played this game both at 1366x768 and 720p resolution with low graphical settings. For upscaling, I used AMD FSR 2.2 set at performance mode, and I was getting 17 to 18 FPS for 1366x768 resolution and 18 to 20 FPS for 720p resolution. Hollow Knight is next on this list. I played this critically acclaimed game at 1366x768 resolution with particle effects set at normal, and I was getting 130 plus FPS during gameplay. That means you can easily play this game with integrated graphics card. Ori and the Blind Forest is next game on this list, and I played this game at 1366x768 resolution, and it ran smoothly around 60 FPS for both cutscenes and gameplay. Unlike Hollow Knight, which gave me 100 plus FPS, Ori pushes my GPU harder because of its beautiful hand-painted visuals and cinematic presentation. 45th game on this list is one of the best and one of the most popular open-world games of all time, Grand Theft Auto 4. And I played this game on 1366x768 resolution with texture quality set to high and all other graphical settings reduced to low, and I was getting 30 to 35 FPS during gameplay with screen record and 35 to 40 FPS without screen record. Next game on this list is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I played this graphically high demanding game at 720p resolution with 50% resolution modifier, and I reduced all other graphical settings to low, and I was getting 17 to 20 FPS during gameplay with screen record and 18 to 21 FPS without screen record. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is next on this list. Here I would like to mention that it cannot be launched with Windows 11 version 24H2. Also, you cannot play it with 8GB RAM. I was running Valhalla at 720p with 50% resolution scaling and all low settings, and I was getting around 15 to 16 FPS during gameplay. Next game on this list is Darksiders 3. I was playing this game at 1366 x 768 resolution with all low settings. However, each time I start the game, it resets to 1080p with VSync enabled. So I have to manually change it. Performance wise, I am getting 22 to 30 FPS in cutscenes and 24 to 26 FPS during gameplay. Without recording, it's slightly higher, 24 to 30 FPS in cutscenes and 25 to 20 FPS during gameplay. The second last game is The Crew. Technically, you cannot play this game anymore as Ubisoft has removed this game from its store permanently. But if you could somehow play this game, then you could have played it at 1366 x 768 resolution with low graphical settings with Intel UHD 620 iGPU. You would have get approximately 22 to 24 FPS during gameplay. Last game of today's list is Dying Light the Beast. Friends, I cannot launch this game with DirectX 12, but with DirectX 11 I was able to launch this game. I tried the game at 720p resolution with AMD FSR set to performance mode and all graphical settings on low. Unfortunately, the FPS is very low, around 9 to 10 FPS in cutscenes and 10 to 12 FPS in normal gameplay, and a maximum of 15 FPS in close areas like vents. So while it is technically playable on Intel UHD 620 iGPU, the performance is extremely low. Also, I face a reddish graphical bug that covers the outer open world areas. While interiors look fine, the integrated GPU struggles badly with outdoor rendering. So that's it guys. With it, I have completed my list of 15 games that you can play on Intel UHD 620 iGPU. So I am going to wrap up this gameplay video here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow with a new gameplay video. Till then, take care, tata and happy gaming.